Today we will speak about longevity. With me is one of the most seasoned experts here in Austria, a medical entrepreneur, Johannes Weiss. Welcome, Johannes.
I'm absolutely convinced in a modern world with lots of social media, advertisement, technology, we have to encounter this because we have lots of income and lots of stress, and we have to use also technology to fight against this. If you are scared about dying, you are 100% not living this life you really want to live. When you're not scared about dying, because I'm saying always, okay, when it's over, it's okay for me. My health is so important for me because the life quality is really high when you're healthy, when you're full of energy, when you have fun. And I think this is the most important aspect of it. I would recommend them to.
Let's talk about tech. Let's talk about tech. Let's talk about tech.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About Tech, our podcast on venture capital and private equity, brought to you by Venionaire Capital, the entrepreneurial partners. Today we will speak about longevity, and with me is one of the most seasoned experts here in Austria, a medical entrepreneur, Johannes Weiss. Welcome, Johannes.
Thanks for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
I have never heard about a medical entrepreneur. How did you become a medical entrepreneur, and what is that?
It's a really personal story. I was pretty young, about 20, and I was going to the doctor, to my normal doctor, was going there and was checking my blood. And then he looked at my blood work and said, okay, Johannes, you have a problem and we can't fix it. And this was the moment where I've seen, okay, he said to me, I'm 20 years old and he cannot really help me. So that's an autoimmune disease and he cannot help me. And with this answer, I was not satisfied. And then I started my own journey and looking for solutions. But this was not the only thing, because one of my close family members was also pretty sick. And then was, okay, we have a really good medical system, but we have no solutions for chronic diseases. And this is where I started to become more and more in the complementary holistic medicine field, what is now the longevity medicine, and have done more and more trainings. And then, now we have our clinic in Vienna already.
With multiple doctors and expertise in-house.
Yes. Mhm.
How many do you have, and what kind of fields do you cover in your clinics?
So we are about 10 employees already. So we have some consultants that help the people with the machines and with the treatments. Then we have nurses for infusions, and we have 3 different doctors. So they're doing different forms of holistic medicine. Someone are more specialized in nutrients with infusions, some more specialized in hormone replacement therapy. But we have all together that we focus on prevention.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I have heard, we spoke a bit before, right,
Mhm.
about this blue zone. So
Yeah.
the area of the world where the oldest people live.
Yeah.
In research, we found the oldest person who ever lived was 122 years old.
Mhm.
I wonder what this blue zone is and why people specifically in this area live longer.
Mhm. So there are about 5 blue zones on the earth, on different zones. We know Okinawa in Japan. Then there's one in South America. One is Sardinia in Italy. And there are spots where there are lots of people getting really old, over 100 years old. And they're talking about, is it the nutrition? Is it the community? And there's no specific nutrition for them. Some eating more meat, some eating less meat. But what they have all together, they have a strong social bonding, a
Mhm.
big families living together. They're doing daily movement. And I think the most important thing is really the social connection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I included in the concept what I developed. One part is community, because the social relationships with friends or family is really important for our health.
Interesting. Now you have I think roughly around 1,000 clients, right? Nationally, but also people travel from Monaco, from Dubai, and whatnot places to get treatments. And now you say community and family is so important. I would think if somebody was listening and said, "Hey, I have a big family. Why do I need a treatment?" Can you explain that a little bit further, and like how your concept is built, and how I think 3 pillars kind
Yeah.
of align,
Mhm.
and why this makes total sense to be offered by the longevity company of yours?
Mhm. Okay, so my concept is developed on mainly on the science of the psychoneuroimmunology. This is the science behind, and this is the best science to connect the psychology, so the brain with the body.
Mhm.
And out of this, I developed a concept because there was no real concept for this. So one pillar is one of the most important in the world today is brain and nervous system. We need a way to regulate our brain and nervous system because of social media, the news, the stress of work, and also social life. This can be really huge stress factors. And some therapies we are having here, like neurofeedback therapy, we can shut down stress nearly immediately. So we can modulate our brain that we calm down. So we have in really short time really impact on our brain. And before we do the neurofeedback therapy, we can also do a brain scan and see, okay, what is really the problem? So this is brain and nervous system. When you are always in a fight or flight mode and stressed, you cannot heal. And then we have our second part. This is the mitochondria. Maybe someone know the powerhouses of the cell. And this is so important because everything in the body needs energy. This is the main currents in the body. This sounds a bit esoteric because of energy, but the energy production is profound. You need not only for doing anything the energy, also for relaxing, the body needs energy. And for example, the brain, the heart, the liver, these are organs that really need really much energy. And the problem with the energy production is today that on the one side we have the stress. Stress needs really much energy. And then we have a lot of pollutions. So environmental toxins, then we have pesticides, heavy metals, we have a bad nutrition. On the other hand, we have nutrient deficiencies. And so we have more toxins and more nutrient deficiencies, and this makes our cells weak. So the idea is to regulate brain and nervous system, putting some nutrients in, putting the toxins out. And then the basis of all is the community. So, and the community aspect is also this, that you have to learn about, to understand, and to make a good lifestyle. So sleep, movement, nutrition is always the base. You can compensate with these two pillars, but the base should be fine in the long term.
Let's dive a bit deeper into this. So you said you can stress relief. I mean, as investment bankers in our industry, heavy workload, long hours, quite some pressure, right? Lots of travel. If I look at my schedule, I wonder how you can relieve stress faster. Like how does this work? Do you plug me into a machine or?
No, that's not a machine, but that's really an amazing treatment, and do it nearly 10 years. And it works like this. You're putting electrodes on the brain, and I'm measuring the EEG. I can see on the screen your brain waves. And the frequencies are in the computer, and this is generating a feedback. So you as a client sitting here watching the screen, and you watching like a documentary about nature. And the screen is changing all the time the size. And then your brain understands how to regulate itself again. So the activity of your brain gets turned into a screen, into a picture or in a movie. And then the brain learns, okay, this is how I'm relaxing. It learns again to self-regulate. It's really hard to understand. It's like you have to experience it. But this is the way you can calm down within minutes.
So meditation could be also a way to do that.
Yeah, it could be a way to do it. But last time I had a lecture and I asked 100 people, and I said, who had long-term results with meditation? And there were 2 people in the room. They said, okay, long-term results only with meditation. Because I'm absolutely convinced in a modern world with lots of social media, advertisement, technology, we have to encounter this because we have lots of income and lots of stress, and we have to use also technology to fight against this or to modulate against this, all these stressors. And so we have as I said, the neurofeedback therapy, but there are also other options for neuromodulation. So we can also send some light currents through the brain to calm it down, or to the vagus nerve, like stimulators.
And how much and how intense do I need to practice that? Do I come once and then my brain guts it? Or do I need to do this like on a weekly basis, or like how can I understand this a bit better.
It's like a gym, so you need a training. So your brain have to learn how to regulate themselves. The first results normally, if you have sleep disturbances, you have the first results after 2 to 3 sessions. After 5, it's pretty good for the most, but the long-term results normally you get between 5 and 10. So normally we said, okay, when there are light problems, say, okay, let's do 5. And if there are strong problems with chronic stress, burnout, sleep disorders, we say, okay, let's do 10. And the miracle is when you combine it with nutrient infusions, like with magnesium, kalium, glycine, all substances that's coming down on a cellular level, you can double the effect.
Interesting. Now there is a huge market on supplements, right?
Yes.
And if you scroll and click on the wrong advertisement, you get flushed with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like 1 week it's like get your cortisol levels in order, and then it's like more you need to have more proteins and whatever. Is there really like a magical combination to have the body in balance, or is this on a very individual level with each patient?
It's very individual, but I can say some basic nutrients. Every one of us who has stress or in a modern lifestyle needs magnesium. So magnesium, a high quality magnesium supplement can everyone take. On a daily, I always say magnesium is the supplement you can take every day for a lifetime. This is for everyone. But most of the things are really specific. And this is our main thing, that we're doing really a personalized medicine. We're doing diagnosis from the saliva, from the blood, from the gut, and we have really, and also the brain scan. So it's really specific. And I think this is what makes us special, that we have really personalized programs for our clients.
My family's gonna love this. They're in pharmacies, right? In pharmaceutical sales, you could say. Now we have understood there is a lot of things we can do to have a better lifestyle, sleep better, live longer, etc. Will we beat the 122-year-old? Do you think there is more to come?
I'm 100% sure. So it's crazy. I don't say it before, but I'm mainly all over Europe, and I'm on conferences holding the lectures there, knowing lots of people there. It's crazy. It's going so fast, and so much things happen at the time, and it's developing so fast. And I think in the next years, lots of things will come. And we see already with therapies we have, like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, NAD+, peptides, all these things, they're making already really good signs that they make a healthier life.
When we spoke before, you were talking about freezing chambers.
Yes, cryotherapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is so important, we need, our cells need not only nutrients and no toxins, I forgot one, they also need homeostasis. This is stress. We need natural stress, because all healthy things are some form of stress. When doing sports is stress, fasting is stress, and also cryo, so cold therapy is stress, or sauna, it's heat therapy, is also stress.
Is it equally good to do sauna and the cryotherapy?
No, it's not. I think the better studies are on sauna, so heat therapy has better studies than cryotherapy. And I think when it's overall, it's better, because cryotherapy is also really healthy. We have 2 cryo chambers in our center, but it's not for everyone in every situation, because when you're really underweight, or I wouldn't even do cryotherapy. But all in all, here we are again at the personalized treatments. For this one is sauna better, for this one is cryo better.
Okay, very interesting. Now, there is a lot of startups in this field, right? And they're developing heavily. I would guess they reach out to you a lot and want to offer you the new ideas that they have, the new products, technologies. How do you see that? Are you sticking more with traditional medical, I would say, advices and like the school medicine, or are you also open to try new things from startups?
So all in all, I'm really open. So when we need, for example, what we're using really often is, for example, parasite medication. It's a normal medication for parasites, for parasitic infections. And I think this is the most important thing in longevity medicine, holistic medicine, that we are open for everything. on this side and also on the other side. So I will try everything. I'm really open to that, but I'm really sensitive when lots of people come here, this is the best, and they're always talking about the one pill that is the best. Then I'm really skeptical, because we need always a holistic concept. It's never the one pill.
And individualized.
Individual.
Also by gender, are male and female equal, or is there a difference? I've heard there's more clinics now on female medicine, for example.
Yeah, there's really a difference, because only of the hormones, we have a gynecologist in our center who is specialized in hormone replacement therapy, and it's also really individualized. There's a big difference.
Now, you do a lot of international consulting. Is there cultural differences? Is there lifestyle differences, things that you encounter where you say, in the Arab world, right, I put more emphasis on one topic, in the Asian world on different ones, in Europe, yet on different fields?
I'm already at the beginning of experiencing it, but it's so interesting that I never think of countries. For example, I talked about Namibia. There are so really random countries are coming, or doctors or entrepreneurs coming from there and asking, or also from Asia. And the one thing they have all together, they want to do something in the longevity space.
It's a huge trend.
Yeah, it's a really huge trend. And they're all looking for, so they are really smart. They're looking for consulting, for help. That they're doing not so smart. They're saying, yeah, I'm putting random machines in a room and starting a center. This is the biggest problem I see.
So there is a lot of clinics that don't have a foundational background or system behind their treatments, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and what maybe it's interesting for our listeners, because when I'm seeing, for example, I'm often seeing clients from Dubai, and we have to say we have in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, we have amazing laboratories, amazing diagnostics, amazing dentistry. We have really good medicine, and I think we have the best diagnostics in the world. I'm really, really think that. And the problem is when they come in, for example, from Dubai, they're full of peptides, the hormones, NAD+. They're doing really good things, but they don't think about the root cause medicine. Maybe they're doing it, but I'm not experienced now.
What is root cause medicine?
Root cause medicine means we also taking care of heavy metal exposure. We taking care of chronic infections like herpes viruses, Borrelia, so like chronic viruses or bacteria that are living in the body. Everyone carries one of them, and we're taking also care of them because they're living with us. But when you have stress and your immune system goes down, they can flare up. So we're looking on the root causes, and I experience often that in other countries that is not so common, like in for example, in Austria or Germany. Yeah.
Now let's make a jump into the future, and let's say 30 years from now, it's medically possible to live 250 years. What is your take on the ethical discussion around this? I had just a conversation in Davos this year where on the podium, a very futurist medical doctor explained what will be possible in the future. And he also said that he's getting challenged by ethic boards, right, for clinical studies. So they wouldn't allow him actually to go into clinical trials because if that would work, he could enable people to live more than 200 years. And it triggered in me a thought, right, that society needs to be ready for people that live so long. Have you ever wrapped your head around this? Is in the community of longevity, is this a topic yet?
Yeah, in the international community, it gets more and more. And there are really some people saying, yeah, I want to live forever. But I'm really, my opinion on this is that it shouldn't be out of a deficit. It shouldn't be out of scaring about that, because my opinion is that if you are scared about dying, you're 100% not living this life you really want to live. And when you're not scared about dying, because I'm saying always, okay, when it's over, it's over, it's okay for me. My health is so important for me because the life quality is really high when you're healthy, when you're full of energy, when you have fun. And when you are sick, you not have so much fun mostly. And I think this is the most important aspect of it. And when the people think, okay, I want to live forever, I want to never die, I would also recommend them to, okay, find maybe, okay, why I'm so scared about that. But the ethical aspect for our society, it's really, I don't have really an opinion on that, but we have to think about maybe in a few years, then we will see where it goes. But as I said before, also on the other side, the fertility goes down really fast. We have lots of clients that are coming that tried lots of IVF, and they don't getting kids. And when we're doing also holistic treatments with hyperbaric oxygen, NAD+, so we are working on the mitochondria because the egg cells have the most mitochondria in our body. Yeah, maybe they're getting then kids again. And yeah, so
Do you see that the chances rise with these treatments? So when you're tackling at the root cause, that fertility rises?
yeah, I'm really close working with gynecologists since years, and yeah, we're seeing it regularly. Yeah, that helps 100%. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I would be curious about your take on longevity. How long shall we live? What do you think about people that get 200 or maybe 300 years old in the future? What's your take on the ethics around this topic? It's very interesting, and I'm sure it's a almost never-ending story. It was really a pleasure to have you here in our podcast. Thanks for giving us a little hint on what we could do. I'm sure there's a few people that will check out Longevity GmbH in Vienna, Austria, downtown in the city center. It was great to have you. Thank you, Johannes.
Thank
Deep
you.
insights. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have subscribed already. If you haven't, do that now. And join for the next episode if you liked what you've heard today.
Let's talk about
Goodbye, guys.
Bye bye.
Let's talk about tech. Let's talk about tech, baby. Let's talk about your IP. Let's talk about steel, baby. Let's talk about